I am not engaging with this in any type of way whatsoever.
Maybe you'll think propositioning a prostitute with your mom is hilarious. I don't. Welcome to Kyle and Dave versus the Machine. We are talking about a movie called Garp. Wait, what is it?
What's Eating Gilbert Garp?
The World According to Garp.
Yeah.
I don't remember much about this movie. We watched it actually a few weeks ago to break the
illusion.
fifth, sixth wall. Kyle, tell me what you remember about Garp.
Well, for me, this movie is impacted by the fact that I did read the first 100 pages of the novel. John Irving also wrote the Cider House Rules. So go and watch that video if you want to get mad at us.
Movie, right?
Here's the thing. I think in the book, it is very clear that this is supposed to be this very highly satirical, whimsical tale of a young man wandering through his life and these bonkers characters, one being his own mother, and these kind of like random situations he gets into, but commenting supposedly about America at that time. The movie, in my opinion, completely does away with that tone, and therefore this movie feels so weird. Everything is basically played straight. This stuff is actually happening. These are real things that are occurring. How am I supposed to like situate myself in this world? Nothing now feels satiric. It feels like we're trying to have this real exploration, drama, marriage falling apart sort of thing. And for the vast majority of it, I'm just like, I am not engaging with this in any type of way whatsoever. For sure, Robin Williams does well in the role. I'm a big fan of Glen Close. So she does good in her kind of like weird, like robotic mother role. John Lithgow does breathe life and grace to a transgender character.
Well, you might have seen me. I was a tight end with the Philadelphia Eagles.
The joke, is not like, oh, this is a man dressing up as a woman. They do feel like it's a real character that feels integral to the plot. In our episode, we do make the comparison of other people who sometimes also have films that feel like it's a bunch of things weirdly happening, like a Wes Anderson or a Paul Thomas Anderson, but those feel from the jump, oh, we're in this different world. I'm not trying to see real people. And in this, because it is played straight, it's just like, why is no one reacting like an actual human being in any of these situations? By the end of it, I was like, well, that was a movie that I'll never think of again in my entire
clearly,
life.
I wasn't thinking about it. As a parent, there's a joke in it where their second child is killed in a car accident while the cheating wife is sucking off the dick of her student. Just describing that should tell you what this movie fails at. And what happens after that is instead of going to mourning or addressing anything at all, there's a freeze frame of the kid's face, and then later there's a dick joke about biting the guy's cock off.
Like, and then they have a second kid and everything is good, I guess.
Everything's fine.
Yeah, it's weird.
Fucking idiotic.
The first screenwriter they hired basically told the studio, listen, this cannot be adapted. And I think it turns out he is probably right. Sure, there's some great shots. Yes, there's some classical like filmmaking at play here, which I appreciate because you don't see that a lot anymore in modern films. But again, I think it's to a disservice of the material as it is supposed to be portrayed.
Glen Close was nominated for an Oscar.
First movie. This is her first movie she was ever in.
Glen Close is a great American actress, and nobody's doubting her ability. But this character is awful. It's kind of crazy, like really detached, sociopathic. And I don't get a lot of range, not through any fault of her performance. I mean, she befriends a prostitute. Are you a prostitute? And then interviews her in front of Garp. And she's like, okay, now you can pay to have sex with this woman.
But you have to do, I guess. Don't give me money here.
For me, that's like the one funny part of the movie. Well, one of two funny parts in the movie. Like that is a humorous scene. It's a cool, I think a well-structured idea for comedy to come out of. It's like the British version of The Office, curling up and like, this is so awkward to watch.
It's not the worst movie we've ever watched. We say that a lot. We've become very defensive because there are a lot of bad movies.
There's a difference between, I think, a bad movie and a movie that's a bit of a mess. In my opinion, this is a movie that falls into that category. It's not good, but like there's these silver linings every so often. Like, I could see how maybe that could work, or if they just taken out this subplot and really focused on this. Whereas other movies, I'm like, yes, Giorgio, perhaps. I'd be like, I don't understand how this got past the script phase.
If you are a fan of the book or want to Wikipedia it while you watch it, this movie does have more value. But if you're like me, just walked into this is a shitty experience. Like, I would never recommend anybody sit through this because it's so awkward and weird. And so if you want to spend the time reading the first 100 pages of a book, maybe you'll think propositioning a prostitute with your mom is hilarious. I don't.
So I did. So I'll continue to defend that scene. I think that scene is funny.
Yeah. Anything else we need to talk about this? I don't think
so.
Much else.
I think it's good.
I don't remember any trivia. Glen Close has won everything but an Oscar.
Mm-hmm.
Garp,
Garp.
Sounds like a fish.